This is something that we all known that has been happening, and it's obvious that it has been happening. That is a lot of moving pieces going on behind the scenes, potentially blocking Shadur Sanders from playing and pretty much hindering him making an appearance behind center. Now, with that being said, Mr. Stefanski let it be known that Dillon Gabriel will be up under center moving forward. Stated, Browns insider dropped some telling information this morning about how everything is playing out as of right now.
Something wild is happening in Cleveland, and it's got Shadur Sanders drama written all over it. The Browns insider just dropped a bomb so messy it makes soap operas look calm. Whatever you think it is, it's worse. Way worse. Grab popcorn. This meltdown's just getting started.
What is going on behind the scene? How can this kid that was rated as a late first-round draft pick not get on the field for a team that sucks? They're not even giving him reps. What? That's on the coach, man. Stefanski's going to have to answer for that, and it might come at the end of the year, and it might come in the form of firing. What is going on? Does he have I don't want to pick on Kevin. Does he even have a say in this? Is someone in the front office saying don't play him? Clear.
Chaos is brewing in Cleveland, and it's starting to look bigger than just another quarterback drama. It's the Browns' latest episode of How to Ruin Potential. Because apparently, if there's one thing this franchise loves more than mediocrity, it's sabotaging its own future stars.
That's something I spoke about, was Shedeur actually going to the hood. Tell the truth. He going to the hood, and he going to the trenches, and he giving love and showing back. We didn't see Deshaun Watson go to the trenches. We don't see nobody going to the trenches. Tell the truth. Hell, y'all ain't ever probably even been to the trenches, bruh. Shedeur is doing things that they probably don't approve of. But do he care? No. Because you want to know why? Because every little kid that pull up to the high school, every little kid that pull up to that school, he gonna change their life. He impact.
And right now, Shadur Sanders is at the center of the mess. So, according to what's been swirling around, a Browns insider just dropped the kind of behind-the-scenes drama that could make a 30 for 30 look tame.
No, but I take you to the statistical things because that's where they want to start the conversation. Yeah. That's where they want to mislead and start the conversation as if you have a high completion percentage, well, look at all these other quarterbacks that had a high completion percentage, and look how it didn't work out for them. Then they bring up Brandon Whedon, they bring up Colt McCoy, they bring up these other guys. I'm sorry, Colt McCoy was not the second quarterback in college football history to throw for 14,000 plus yards while completing 70% of his passes. Colt McCoy never had a season like Shedeur did at last year at Colorado, where in the red zone,
There's talk of moving pieces, mystery injuries, and a suspicious amount of team decisions that all seem to end with Shedeur sitting on the bench. You know it's bad when the fans start whispering the word conspiracy more than Super Bowl.
I think Shadur Sanders should get a chance to play for the Cleveland Browns. But nobody in the NFL has an interest in Shadur Sanders being on their roster. Not just the Cleveland Browns. Nobody else drafted him. Nobody else wanted him. And now when there might be an opportunity to bring Shadur Sanders into your franchise and locker room, 31 teams. It's like the mayoral election last night or the gubernatorial election last night.
The team already made it clear that Dillon Gabriel is the guy under center moving forward, which sure makes total sense if you close your eyes, cover your ears, and pretend talent doesn't exist. It's almost like the Browns looked at a quarterback who can move, lead, and throw lasers and said, nah, let's bench that. Too exciting.
Having 18 touchdowns, 3 picks, and was top 6 in the FBS in every category you could imagine when it came to red zone stats. Like to boil it down to something as simple as, well, he was great with completion percentage, and other college quarterbacks have been great, so ergo, this guy must stink. What are we doing? It's so misleading and it makes no sense. You shouldn't punish people for having really strong college numbers, especially when it's not the only thing that he was good at in the college ranks.
Meanwhile, the insider hinting that there's a lot going on behind the scenes might be the understatement of the decade. Behind the scenes in Cleveland, that's like saying there's a little smoke coming from a burning building. Something's clearly off. There's too much chatter, too much secrecy, and way too many people pretending they don't see it.
I don't know what's going on with the back problem, and I'm very confused. Monday he's not practicing. Obviously, they're off today. We'll find out what happens on Wednesday. But last Sunday, after the game was done, and again, remember they just played a game, and he's talking to reporters. I don't know, I don't know who exactly he was talking to in the scrum, but I believe Mary Kay's reported the recounting of it, where he makes the reference of how it wasn't his call to be sitting down. It wasn't his call to not be the backup in that Patriots game. And you just have a week where it feels like we got no information. I don't know the status of it. And then he misses Monday's practice. And the whole thing, I don't know what it is, but something just doesn't pass the smell test.
Yeah. And of course, the Cleveland media is handling this situation with their usual blend of confusion and chaos. One minute, they're acting like Shedur's the future of the franchise. The next, they're psychoanalyzing his travel itinerary like it's a court case. Suddenly, everyone's a back specialist because he flew home during a bye week. The horror, a rookie visiting his dad. Imagine the audacity.
Look, I get everybody wants to see Shedeur. Based on what? What football coach makes this? Let's see what we got. Let's throw him out there and see what's the worst thing could happen.
Could it be you've seen enough of Dillon? I guess is that what you're trying to ask, G? Like,
yeah.
we've seen enough of one.
They might be having that conversation every day, and then having the conversation. What's our other option? And he goes, "That ain't it." There's a lot of people sitting in the room right now trying to determine that.
They're over there debating whether flying across the country is safe for his injury, as if he's being launched into space. Newsflash, he's on a private jet, not crammed in a coach next to a crying baby and a broken seatbelt. But sure, let's turn it into a scandal, because in Cleveland, every move Shedeur makes is somehow a headline. And while all this nonsense plays out, the man himself is out there doing what most players don't, actually giving back.
Here's what the hell nobody's telling you about the Shadur Sanders situation from a business perspective. How in the world are 8 Browns quarterbacks being paid, but several aren't even Browns quarterbacks? They're not even on the roster because there's a difference in opinion between the 2 most important people in the building, the coach and the general manager. See, the coach dictates who plays in the game, but the general manager, they dictate who's actually on the roster. If you ever have a difference in opinion between the coach and the general manager, that's how you have pure chaos like you see with the Browns.
Shedeur's been in local schools, on community fields, in neighborhoods people in suits wouldn't dare visit. He's shaking hands, signing shirts, and showing kids that they matter. It's funny though, Deshaun Watson never stepped foot in those same neighborhoods, but nobody had a problem with that. Yet Shedeur connects with the city, and suddenly it's unprofessional. Maybe the issue isn't what he's doing. Maybe it's that he's doing it too well. Cleveland doesn't quite know what to do with a player who can ball out and have charisma.
And this is the truth, Browns fans. This is what actually happened. The Browns picked Dillon Gabriel over Shadur Sanders. This was a Stefanski decision. This was a Barry decision. The Browns made their assessment of talent, and they really thought that Dillon Gabriel was better than Shedeur. I disagree with it. You disagree with it. Browns fans all over the world disagree with it. People on social media disagree with the decision that Kevin Stefanski and the Browns front office made. But this is how they're going to run their offense. This is how they're going to make their decision.
And let's be honest, this back injury excuse feels about as solid as a wet paper bag. The timing, the silence, the vague updates, it's all too convenient. It's almost like someone decided, you know what? Let's call it an injury. That way, nobody has to explain why the most promising rookie isn't starting. Because nothing says strategic genius like hiding talent and confusing fans. Even the locker room vibes feel off. Players can sense when something doesn't add up. You can only feed professionals the just trust the process line so many times before they start rolling their eyes.
The Chiefs, Andy Reid and Brett Veach, that general manager, they are in perfect alignment of who they want on the roster, and Andy Reid decides who plays in the game. But the Cleveland Browns, general manager Andrew Berry, he dictates who's on the roster. Deshaun Watson, Shadur Sanders. Kevin Stefanski, he dictates who's in the game. Joe Flacco, Bailey Zappi. That's how you got a guy like Bailey Zappi who's on practice squad because general manager Andrew Berry, he dictates that. But then as soon as Bailey Zappi becomes on the active roster, all of a sudden Bailey Zappi might play ahead of Shadur Sanders. Make that make sense.
And when even your own teammates start whispering that the kid earned his shot, maybe, just maybe, it's time to reevaluate the process. But no, the media keeps doing somersaults trying to justify everything. These guys could argue with themselves and still lose. At this point, it's less about football and more about control. Shedeur is not just a rookie, he's a brand, a presence, a name that trends no matter what he does. And that scares people, because Cleveland doesn't just have a quarterback problem anymore. They've got a confidence problem.
Shedeur is already the face of the Browns. They fear his smile, charm, articulation more than his skills. The black quarterback has always been him. Shout out to John Shaft in Noro, LA. Keep bringing the heat and shining the truth. Biased sports experts you have to deal with. Biased sports experts is something you're going to have to deal with. And no matter how many fabricated lines, it ain't going to equal up to this barbershop real-ish. If you know, you know. X Factor XP. I wonder if Shadur Sanders' face had anything to do with how they're treating him. It has happened to me before. Nice work, G. Bush.
He's out there shining in a way the system can't control. And instead of celebrating that, they're trying to contain it. But good luck with that. You can't bench charisma. You can't fake energy. Everyone knows what's really happening. Cleveland's biggest opponent this season isn't another team. It's itself. But what do you think? Are the Browns really protecting their team? Or are they quietly sabotaging their own future again? Drop your thoughts below and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe because this saga is just getting started.